every computer that you buy, every airplane that you fly has an operations manual. Let me ask you, have you seen an operations manual for life yet?
No.
LifePilot is an operations manual for your life. LifePilot started, Al, I guess in my mind, almost 40 years ago, when I attended a business meeting in Hawaii, and I was introduced to the concept of setting your values before you set your goals. And it started off with 2 pages. It's now developed into the book that you see, the big, about 2-inch thick book. I thought I was quite successful, but when I started writing down my values, I realized that, my gosh, a lot of the things that I believed in, I wasn't having time to do. You never think of it in quite that way. You don't think about putting on every goal, does that fit? Does every single goal fit one of my core values? When you violate your values and you behave in contradiction to your own values, then you have 2 conflicting attitudes in your mind. For example, if a value of yours was family, and you had a job that never lets you spend time with your family, you've got 2 conflicting situations. What's that cause for you? Stress. People's success has always excited me and inspired me, and I've questioned, like, why is one person successful and not the other? There's no question that the successful people are all established goal setters. There was a Harvard study done some time ago of the class that graduated from Harvard, and of the 2% of the class who wrote down their goals, they had 80% of the net worth of the whole class 20 years later. And there's something about goal setting, Al, and writing them down that makes it happen. When you write things down, a magic happens. And it makes a magic sets in. When you fly the airplane, there's turbulence, there's storms, there's clouds, there's all those things out there. Rain, thunder, lightning. The problem is to learn that chaos is part of natural life, and you don't reset all your goals just because chaos happens. There's uncontrollable situations ahead of you. Now, if you don't have knowledge of how to act when an uncontrollable situation comes on, then you get caught up in it. Like, you may fly right into it. The reason we call it LifePilot is that it steers you to go back and take a look at your basic values all the time. What we're going to talk a lot about is navigation and piloting to keep away from those storms. In the class, we talk about an epiphany. An epiphany is a moment where you kind of get a higher level of intelligence. You have a breakthrough, and things just get easier on another level. Well, that's what LifePilot does. You actually have the opportunity to have an epiphany. Your LifePilot is your operations manual, it's your action plan. This is just your action. If any of you are going to business or in business, what's the first thing you want to have is a business plan. The first thing you ask for is a business plan. Why wouldn't you have a business plan for your life? You don't impose, there's no morality, there's no what you have to do, what you don't have to do. LifePilot is about what you want to do, what you dream of doing, what you want to become. When people come to take LifePilot, if they break through, and they seem to be breaking through, they can have an epiphany and change their entire lives. The dad comes home, he was beat up from work and he was tired. And he sat kind of exhausted and he collapsed in his chair. Daddy, read me a story. You know how kids are. No, let me relax for a bit. Daddy, read me a story. He says, okay. And he looked down, there was a magazine there. And there was a map of the world in the magazine. It had a sort of map of the world. He gives it to the little boy and he said, look, I tell you what. He ripped it all up into pieces. He said, you put this together. And he said, when you get it put together, I'll read you a story. You come back when it's done. Figured I've solved that for a few hours. About 3 minutes later, little boy comes back. He said, Daddy, read me a story. Dad says, my gosh, he said. And here's the map of the world all put together properly. He said, how did you ever put that map of the world together so quickly? His dad said, well, he said, on the other side of the map of the world was a picture of a man's head. He said, I put the man together properly, and the world turned out okay.